Oh, man. I never thought I would make it here. I never thought I would have to make this video. Oh, buddy. I need to look something up real quick, because I want to make sure that my facts are straight. I'm going to keep this in, because I don't care. Let's switch my display real quick. The B Team. Wikipedia. Whatever. NXT is whatever. From 2016 to 2018. This right here is something that I have followed. It will be 8 years now. I have been following Bo-Lieving Dallas for 8 years. 2016. I got into this sport. I got into this hobby. 2015. Very first wrestling match that I watched to completion. The Rock versus John Cena at WrestleMania 2015. I was hooked ever since. Even though I've grown to not be particularly fond of either of those talents. Even though their talents are undeniable. But I've always had a penchant, a propensity for the silly, a love of the stupid. And Bo Dallas was one of those characters. There was a charm, a charisma between him and Curtis Axel. This ability to draw you in and make them completely and utterly lovable, despite the fact that they were complete losers. They own that fact, and they love that fact, and it's awesome. The B Team is the first wrestling shirt I ever got. The first wrestling thing that I truly got into. Bo-Lieving Dallas. 2016. And 8 years later, after the passing of my second favorite wrestler of all time, he's back. In a way. Bray Wyatt gets to live on. The 6th member, the Wyatt 5. Immaculate, incredible. Uncle Howdy today. Where do we even begin with Uncle Howdy? It's a good-ass time to be a wrestling fan. So I watched Raw. As it's pretty obvious. I had to be there for this. I had to get all gussied up. I had to be the man. I had to get in front of my camera and I needed to talk about this. I don't even know what I'm saying. This is all just rambling, gibberish, word salad. Nothing being spewed into this microphone. And yet I have to say it. Why? Why? I have this nagging, urging feeling within me that I missed something phenomenal. I quit watching WWE right around the time that AEW became a thing. I saw Double or Nothing and I was completely and utterly hooked from the word go. And because of that, I missed out on a lot of good WWE television. Though I know those waning years of Vince McMahon were rough. Rough enough to get me to quit watching the program. But in missing out on those last few years, I also missed out on the waning years of a career that I followed, a career that I loved, in Bray Wyatt. Suddenly he was taken from us. I didn't know what to do. A crisis of consciousness and character began to unfold within me until we finally get to this point. I've barely talked about wrestling at all for a year as I tried to grapple with this, man. Holy smokes, it's hot in here. Pennsylvania's going through a heat wave, my brothers. It is 91 degrees out right now, and I do not have an air conditioner in this room, so I get to just be hot. But the coat is cool, so I'm wearing it, goddammit. Uncle Howdy is here. And I have learned a lot by just watching 2 episodes of a Paul Levesque show. It's immaculate how this man writes television. I can't believe it. Because I get through AEW and it's like, yes, good wrestling, good matches. But at some point, the matches are not going to be enough for someone like me. I get into wrestling for the same reason I get into stuff like One Piece. The same reason I love D&D. I love long-form, enormous, gigantic stories that all get crunched up together into this wonderful package that I can enjoy. And wrestling is that. It's one of the longest television shows ever released. And you could follow a career, much like you follow a career in a sport. Much like you follow Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Peyton Hillis, I don't know. You can follow the likes of John Cena, a Triple H, a Bray Wyatt. Throughout their entire career, their entire story, all bundled up into this real fake show. That is wrestling. That is what wrestling is, man. And AEW struggles with that. AEW struggles with the long term. We want those cool matches. We want to get the big names on television now so that we can cash out. I'm not saying that AEW is trying to, cash grab with their booking. I'm not saying that AEW is trying to create an environment where people are only going to be recognized for their monetary value. I'm not even saying that AEW has no stories. But they struggle in thinking of the long term. They struggle immensely with that. And seeing Triple H, seeing a Paul Levesque show, just completely and utterly master this long-form element. The story element of it, man, is amazing. There's 2 things that I noticed that happen on every episode of Raw that I've watched since I got back into it. Tentatively got back into it. I still don't know if I have the time to watch 3 different wrestling shows a week, but I'll do my best. But Triple H, he understands that at the start of a show, you put something intriguing in front of the viewer that will keep the viewer watching the show so that they find out what happens later. One of the things you notice happen with AEW is that you'll have a lot of people at the very start and a lot of people at the very end, but no one ever wants to watch the middle because there's no intrigue. AEW's like, okay, here's a match, here's a match, here's a match, here's a match. But if your entire program is here's a match, then who cares about the mid-card at all? I want to see the big matches. There's no interesting stories being told. Orange Cassidy can only do so many surprise roll-ups and can acquire so many injuries before I am done with his story. Because that's his whole story. Now the whole the whole Trent Beretta thing with Orange Cassidy. So now I'm going to talk about AEW. The whole Trent Beretta thing with Orange Cassidy is good. But I had a thought when that whole thing went down, right? A few weeks ago, Trent Beretta, he turned his back on the Best Friends and on Orange Cassidy. He was being overshadowed. He had been in the company since the very beginning, and now the mascot is getting all the limelight, and Trent is being left in the dust. So I'm going to make a bet on myself. I'm going to get the hell out of here, man. So we have Chris Statlander come out, talking to Don Callis of the Don Callis family, talking to Wrestling Satan himself. And she mentioned something or other about their best friend happily accepting the invitation to join the Don Callis family. Now, this had the lead up of Don Callis scouting the former champion Orange Cassidy. And not Trent Beretta. But Trent Beretta got the invitation, even though he didn't get the invitation because he wasn't scouted. But it looked cool in the moment because Trent Beretta got to do a big old dropkick on Orange Cassidy. And I was thinking, man, it lacked impact. And I thought of a great way to make it much, much better. Trent Beretta shows up out of nowhere, gives Orange Cassidy a big running hit. Orange Cassidy is killed instantly. Trent Beretta stands victoriously as an evil man now. But we had just seen Trent Beretta fight Orange Cassidy like 3 days prior. So there was no impact. There was no shock. There was no surprise. There was no care. A few weeks back, Trent Beretta had fought his best friend. His tag team is called the Best Friends, and the tag team split because of this. And Trent Beretta had to fight Chuck Taylor, his best friend of the Best Friends. And he fought him and he injured him so bad that Chuck Taylor can never wrestle again, is what we were told. I don't know if he's actually injured. I don't know if he's just being taken off the TV for the time being. I don't know. If Chuck Taylor is hale and heart and healthy, how much better would it have been if we had this whole thing go down between Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta? And we have the whole thing go down where Don Callis is trying to get Orange Cassidy in, and everyone and their mother is thinking, okay, we're going to have my best friend is going to be joining Wrestling Satan. And every single person watching that program, all at the same time goes, oh, they're talking about Trent Beretta. On one hand, we could have Trent Beretta there, no impact, nothing there. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that was Chuck Taylor? The absolute betrayal, the sudden shock of that. We're not supposed to see him. He has been killed forever. But no. The obvious thing was done. It had no impact. It was not very good. And that's what Triple H can do, I guess. I don't think Triple H would have booked it like that. I don't think anyone could have booked it like that because Chuck Taylor might actually be hurt. But just little things like that, little shifts, can make the program much, much better. And Triple H, he does the two things of timing. Firstly, puts in some intrigue at the start of the show. Dominic Mysterio is missing his big dumb vest. Where could it be? We find out later in the show, Liv Morgan has his big dumb vest. How did she get it? Find out next week on Monday Night Raw, right? Setup, payoff, intrigue. That got me interested to keep watching the show from the very start to the middle of the show. Because I want to know what happened to the vest. Obviously, it was an important piece. And now, I want more answers. How did she get that vest? Well, there's only one way I'm going to get those answers, and that's if I tune in to Monday Night Raw on USA Network. Or just this whole thing with Otis. Otis has been amazing. We have to save Otis. Do you know how you can save Otis? Tune in every week to Raw at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on the USA Network. And you, yes you, can save Otis. Or at least you could be there when Otis finally saves himself. Immaculate. Wonderful. Slow burn. Long-term storytelling. It makes you interested. It makes you excited. It makes you hyped to fucking watch wrestling. Man. And just those two little things. If Tony could figure out how to do those two little things, if he could get his creative team to do those two things every Wednesday, well, he's got the keys to the entire world, man. With his roster, with his talent, if you could have those two small kernels of story forcibly shoved into AEW, it would be immaculate. The best wrestling that we could possibly get. The best of both worlds. I don't want to have to choose between good story and good matches. I want good story that leads to good matches. I want good fucking wrestling, man. And that's why I criticize. I'll criticize Raw, I'll criticize SmackDown, I'll criticize Dynamite. I'll criticize every single fucking wrestling show. Why? Because I fucking care. There's a reason why every fucking Wednesday I get down on this seat in front of this fucking microphone and look down this goddamn fucking camera and say that the women's division in AEW needs to do fucking better. They have the talent, they have the stories, they have the gumption, they don't have the fucking time. We gave Sasha Banks the highest fucking contract of any woman wrestler in the entire fucking earth. On the planet. And we're going to have a boring build-up to an obvious payoff that no one gave a shit about. Why? Why? Obviously, you have to put a belt on Sasha. Or Mercedes Moné, because money changes everything. But you have to put a belt on them somehow. Right? Or do you? I don't even know. I went on about Punk a lot when Punk was in AEW. When Punk was the new fucking hotness. And Punk was gone for 7 fucking years. He was gone for 7 years. I've done a lot of soul searching. I've done a lot of looking back into Punk's run in AEW, right? And I've come to the realization, I kind of like Punk. Punk is alright. I still think they completely and utterly botched him. But Punk is good. Punk is healthy for wrestling. If you can rein him in, if you can work with him instead of forcing him into a box, right? So, Punk can be a good factor, but you have to figure out what you're doing with him. The problem with Punk is that he was gone for 7 years, and you needed to remind us, or even push to a new wrestling fan that had never seen Punk before. You need to remind us why we liked Punk to begin with. Did we like Punk because he was John Cena? Did we like Punk because he won wrestling matches? No! We like Punk because he's a scrappy underdog. With a bad fucking attitude, a mean fucking mouth, and he is not afraid to tell it how it is. Which is why his feud with MJF was fucking amazing. Incredible. First of all, anything that MJF touches is immediately gold. So, there you have that. You put him with Punk, all of a sudden, would you look at that? Punk has the best run in AEW, and arguably one of the best feuds in his entire career. I mean, who's gonna beat that? Ryback? Alright. Sure. But everything MJF touches is pure gold. But more importantly, it gets Punk to have a meaningful contest of words with a wordsmith, with an actual word man, with an actual fucking promo. Mercedes Moné comes in. What do we do with her? How about we rely on her promo talent for 3 months and don't put her in the fucking ring? And then give her a belt on her very first match on pay-per-view. Why? Is that supposed to endear me to the character? That she comes down cocky because she knows that she's gonna get a belt? And that she gets a belt. Cool. I'm so invested in the story. The only story being told is that Mercedes got a lot of money from Tony Khan. Why do I give a fuck? Why should anyone care? There's no story being told. You can't book that. You can put their name on a card, and it'll look real nice. You can throw Sasha in as DLC for your video game, and it might sell a good amount of DLC, but is that going to get me to fucking care about watching the product, the program, the show? The thing that you're fucking selling me? No. I don't look at Sasha Banks and go, wow, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. I look at Sasha Banks and go, well, that was a cool 7 minutes. I sure am glad this program has a women's division. Why should I give a fuck? And I want to give a fuck. I want so fucking desperately to give a fuck about this fucking program, man. I got skin in the game. I've been following this shit for years now. Is 5 years not enough to get your fucking shit in order and write a good fucking wrestling show? And that brings me to... I don't even know. Uncle Howdy was fucking good. It's the best goddamn fucking television I've seen in my entire fucking life, okay? It was awesome. It was good. It fucking reminded me of being a kid. It reminded me of fucking looking wistfully at the TV going, oh, cartoons are fucking real. I like it. I fucking love it, man. Is that what you want? Is that what you want to hear me fucking say? Because it's true. Because it's good. My fucking hero, my fucking hero is alive in the spirit of his brother. Bo Dallas has inherited the fucking will of Bray Wyatt. This shit is fucking One Piece. It's fucking anime. It's real. It's fucking real. How fucking wonderful is that, man? That you can have this fucking amazing, immaculate creative vision that moves the hearts of millions to your side after being buried and buried and buried and buried by bad creative and terrible booking. You can finally move enough hearts to your side to finally get your fucking vision on a television screen, and right at the apex of what you're doing, you fucking die. And your own flesh and blood can pick up the pieces and finish what you started. Is that not the most beautiful fucking thing you've ever heard in your entire life? Do you not love wrestling? You fuck. It's hot as fuck in here. I'm getting a water. Fuck! The body grows weary. I dry up like the Sahara. I'm sweating like a stuck pig. The inside of my body is becoming the outside. Slowly but surely, I'm becoming 76% water. I need liquid in me now, brother. Did you think about Uncle Howdy yet? I've been following the career of Bo Dallas for 8 fucking years. I've always said that guy's got what the fuck it takes. I've loved Bray Dallas. I've loved Bray Wyatt every fucking second that I see him on television. The man is a genius. Was a genius. Put that shit together? Man. Now, very powerful start. I desperately hope they don't fuck this up somehow. I do not want to see them fuck this up somehow. Because everything I said would have been completely fucking mute if they goddamn flub this somehow. But you know what? I trust Tripp. Paul Levesque is a very good fucking promoter and a very good fucking booker. And I have followed the career of one Bosif Dallas for 8 years. I have faith. I think he's got what it fucking takes. And you should too. But if you want to find out what it fucking takes, watch Monday Night Raw every week. 8 o'clock on the USA Network. How fucking hard is it to do this shit, man? And AEW seems to understand, at a base level, how to do this shit, man. Because everything they're doing with the Bucks, the EVPs, the evil corporate masterminds, everything they're doing with them, outside of television, is great. I'm going to see if it's still the case right here. Let's see. AEW merch. I'm going to be really sad if this is any different than I thought. I don't care about the best friend sale. I might need to get this. Let's see. View roster. Where's my gay son? There he is. There it is, boys. It is real. So I mentioned this a while ago, right? Where Anthony Bowens has been having a go of it right now. So how do I even begin to explain this? Okay, so basically, from the start, the Young Bucks are an evil wrestling corporate team, right? The Young Bucks are EVPs. They're executive vice presidents. And they have, like, ironclad contracts and do whatever the fuck they want because they just have the power, right? And then Tony Khan, he got killed in the ring by the EVPs. And he can't fire them because they have contracts. So they're running the show. They are bullying the owner of the show. And there's nothing that anyone could do about it. EVPs can't be stopped. Bring in Christopher Daniels, who is a... They didn't want to call him a commissioner. They just gave him the title of temporary executive vice president so that he could have sway over the EVPs as an executive vice president, even though they're also executive vice presidents, but he is the super executive vice president who speaks with the authority of Tony Khan, who apparently doesn't matter because they can pile drive Tony Khan in the middle of a ring and won't be fired for it. So he speaks with the authority of Tony Khan, but that doesn't matter. And then he has this fancy title that doesn't matter. So it shouldn't matter, but it does matter, apparently. So Christopher Daniels is the commissioner, the temporary executive vice president, right? And he's the guy that Tony hired to try to keep the Bucks in check. But the Bucks are one of the best tag teams in the entire world, and they also have Kazuchika Okada, one of the most talented, amazing, powerful Japanese wrestlers to ever exist. So they have like this crazy team going on. So Christopher Daniels, he can't be alone. He cannot rein these guys in by himself. So he commissions the Trios Tag Team Champions, the Acclaimed. Now, the Acclaimed are these baby faces, these beloved dudes. Everybody loves them. They were homegrown. They rose themselves out of nothing. Everyone fucking hated them when we first started. And now everybody loves them. Because they're charismatic, they're cool, and they're awesome. So everybody fucking loves it, alright? So the Acclaimed are getting in the way of the EVPs. And the Bucks, they do not like that someone is getting in their ways. They're petulant children, right? So in comes Anthony Bowens as part of this whole thing, right? Now, Anthony Bowens gets in their way. They decide to fine him $5,000 for quote-unquote breaking contract. Getting in their way. That's a problem. So the Acclaim get in their way, he gets fined, and not only do they fine Anthony Bowens, not only do they give him $5,000 that he has to pay them out of his pocket, they shut down the man's merch store. You gotta think about this from the top, right? The EVPs are these tyrannical, corporate, evil masterminds, and the Acclaimed are the good guys trying to keep them in check to save all of professional wrestling from their tyranny. And in response, they decide to shut down the merch store of the most beloved, openly gay wrestler on Pride Month. Holy shit, dude! Not on Pride Month! That's fucking amazing! Why can't we get stuff like that? Some creative, wonderful things like that on fucking television, man. I want to be able to regale you with tales of AEW and the wonderful things that they're doing every fucking week, but sometimes I just fucking can't. How much do you want me to talk about the fucking learning tree? Chris Jericho's worst gimmick ever. Ever! What do you want me to tell you about Orange Cassidy winning another surprise roll-up every fucking week? What do you want me to tell you about Swerve's amazing title reign? Other than the fact that we all feel like it's going to be gone very soon. Because we saw what they did with Mercedes, and now we're going to do the same with Will Ospreay. At least he might last to Wembley. Who knows? They set up Mercedes Moné to have a wonderful, awesome pay-per-view level feud with a random stranger. Mercedes Moné, we have to get by on Sasha's worst fucking talent, her promo, for months, while she draws no heat for the match, draws no endearment to her character, and does absolutely nothing to make my experience watching television better. We had to endure that for months, but at least there was like a little bit of intrigue, right? Because someone decided to attack Sasha one week in the back. Ooh, who could that be? That could be fucking anyone, right? The week after Sasha wins her belt, we have Sky Blue come out of nowhere. I was the one that attacked you backstage, Mercedes. It was me. I attacked Sasha Banks, who is now Mercedes Moné because copyright reasons. But I attacked Mercedes because I am a homegrown talent. I made AEW's women division what it is. I fucking put this goddamn company on my back, and you are spitting on that fucking legacy. I attacked you because I need to fucking kill you for what you've done to my division. Cool. Awesome. I can't wait to see that live on pay-per-view, only to be told that it's happening later that very same day on Wednesday Night Dynamite. Fuck. Why? Why? Put that shit on fucking Forbidden Door. How fucking hard is that? Awesome setup. Interesting rivalry. Killed the moment that it happened. Because of course Mercedes squashed. Of course Mercedes squashed Sky Blue. There was barely any fight because the women don't get to fight for more than 10 minutes every fucking week on television. So we tried to do we're going to set up some intrigue through weeks. We're going to set up something early in the program, only to be done and fulfilled later in the program. We tried to do that, but you did it in the worst possible fucking way, and it made the entire experience worse. Great. Fuck. Meanwhile, I get to go to Raw on Monday, and I get to see one of the most beautiful acts of family that I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Which show should you watch? Anyway, that's all I have to say. Raw good. Paul Levesque is a very fucking talented man. AEW also good. I want it to be better. Make it better. Bar's open, boys. Don't be dumb. See ya.